And good, bright, and beautiful morning. We are back with more of Joseph and his dreams and his interpretations. And we are doing part two from Joseph, the butler and the baker today. And we are focusing on the baker. So we are on Genesis chapter 40. I got to remember even what the passage is because I'm so into the passage, I forgot the actual address of it. Genesis 40, verses 16 through 23. We're going to finish up this prison. Well, we'll see if we finish up this prison stint, but we're going to finish up talking to the butler and the baker in the prison. So we'll be right back. Grab your notebooks, grab your pen, grab your paper, grab your Bible. Let's get into this. I am Kimberly Mann. This is Easy Bible Study. Let's jump into it today.
You can have all this world, but give me Jesus. In the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
And if you do find any value in this content, do me a favor, click like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell right there as I'm pointing to it. And if, obviously leave a comment below. I'd love to hear that. So, like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my content. This week we are finishing up this one section on Joseph, and we have not had any shorts, but next week we'll be back to doing shorts again. So definitely stick around and be around for that because it's really important. That gives you your little doses throughout the day because shorts come out pretty much every hour on the hour is how I do them. So absolutely, we're gonna have some shorts starting next week. So and maybe I'll start them tomorrow. You know what? Let's start them tomorrow. Tomorrow seems like a really good day to start those. And you know what? We're here. We're almost September, so let's get them started for tomorrow rather than wait for September. So this weekend you can expect to see some shorts out, and so take a look at those as they come out over the weekend. And those will cover some of the stuff we haven't covered before or we've covered in the past. So let's do this. Ready? Let's get into the passage. It's a very short passage because we're just finishing up chapter 40 here. So here we go. All right. And when the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. And in the uppermost basket there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. All right, let's get into this. Ready? All right. So first of all, let's talk about this chief butler and baker. So first of all, the baker and the butler, both of them are here. They're part of Pharaoh's house. They've been sent, just a little recap, they've been sent to this same prison that Joseph is in, which is essentially death row, because it is the king's prison, and pretty much only the king can pardon you to get out of this prison. That's the only way this happens. You are in this prison till you die or until you are hanged or chopped or quartered or whatever. And so the baker's he's so excited because the butler's dream comes back and he says, oh, the butler is told that these 3 branches with the vines and the stuff, and he's squeezing them into the cup for Pharaoh. Well, that means he's going to be restored. Awesome. That sounds great. The baker says, me next. Come on. My turn. Come on, let's give it. Let's give it to me. Now he's excited. He wants to hear it. The top basket. And so the baker says, all right, me next. I had 3 baskets. That's what I had. I had the 3 baskets and they were white, pristine white, 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 white. Now, why does that matter? Well, it kind of does because white is a color of death. It's the color that they would do for a sepulcher. They would lime them out with basically with lime paint. And the reason they would do that is they would paint lime inside of sepulchers, because the lime would then help the body decompose and it wouldn't be quite so bad. So white very much became attributed to death. So the fact that these are very specifically white baskets, because that's interesting because it doesn't just say he has 3 baskets. And growing up as a kid, I always heard them just say that he had 3 baskets. It was never actually specifically said that they were white, and yet they were. And it's specifically named here that they are white baskets. They're not just baskets, they're white baskets. And in the uppermost basket, there was all manner of baked meats. I had all these awesome, amazing bakery things for the Pharaoh. The top basket, the birds were eating all the baked meats made for Pharaoh. Joseph goes, don't know how to tell you this, friend. We got a little bit of a problem. Verse 18. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. The 3 baskets are 3 days. But you're not going to like the rest of this interpretation. Verse 19, yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee. He's like, nope, he's not going to cut it off of him. It actually says he's going to lift it off of him, meaning it's going to be forced up off of him. Literally, that is what hanging does, is it snaps the neck and lifts the head up, which is really gross. And sorry about that, guys. It's kind of graphic. But he says Pharaoh's going to hang you. He's not just going to kill you. He's not just going to hang you. So you've got a hangman's noose and you got 3 days left. You're going to have a hangman's noose. He says he's going to lift your head off of thee and shall hang thee on a tree. And the birds shall eat thy flesh from off of you. Pharaoh's going to hang you. And the birds will eat you. So he's going to hang him in a place where he'll be on display to everybody. He will not be taken down. This is one of the ultimate in disrespect or dishonor. Sorry, guys, a little bit of a dry throat this morning. Really disrespect and dishonor to just abandon a body. And that's essentially what Pharaoh's doing here. He's going to be not just hanging you, he's also going to abandon your body. He's going to let them eat the flesh off of you. So here's what that's what he tells the baker. Doesn't tell us what the baker's reaction to that is. Maybe the baker was like, well, I don't think that's actually going to happen. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe the baker was a little bit in denial. We don't actually know. He doesn't say. But in verse 20, and it came to pass the 3rd day, and I told you yesterday, spoiler alert, the 3rd day was Pharaoh's birthday. So here we go, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants, And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. So verse 20, Pharaoh goes to celebrate his birthday. To celebrate his birthday with all his servants. Because that's what it says here, is that he's celebrating his birthday with his servants. It says, it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. Celebrate his birthday with a feast for his servants. Doesn't even say for himself, although he may have joined in with them. It's hard to say. But he made a feast for his servants. And he restored, in verse 21, he restored the butler. Now remember from yesterday, Joseph said, hey, when you get restored, can you do me a favor? Just put in a good word for me. Don't forget me. I'm giving you some good news here, but I'd really appreciate it when you get restored to Pharaoh that, you say something and help me out, please. Please help me out. I am a stranger in a strange land. I am stuck here. I haven't done anything wrong. I ran away from a woman because I was not going to violate my principles before God. And that's why I'm here on death row. And please help me. When you get restored to Pharaoh, please help me. And in verse 22, we see, and he hanged the butler. The baker, rather. And he hanged the baker just as Joseph said he would. So these interpretations, Joseph admitted earlier in the chapter, if you remember, that interpretations are from God. God's the one who's in charge of the interpretations. And just like Joseph said he would, he restored this. He restored them to this. And I mean, the butler's got to be thrilled. Like, not only is he there, he's celebrating Pharaoh's birthday. Baker, not so much so. But verse 23 is really telling. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. Joseph said, look, I'm going to let you know what your interpretation is. And he told him, he says, but remember me. The butler forgets Joseph. It might be because he was so caught up in the headiness of that. Maybe he was just distraught because the baker was hanged and this all came true. Maybe he was a little afraid of Joseph because Joseph interpreted the dream. Maybe he was a little concerned that his job would be taken away. After all, everything that Joseph was brought into and he put his hand to has been successful. He was given into Potiphar's household and put in charge of all of that. He's put in prison. He's been put in charge of all of that. Maybe the butler's a little bit afraid. Hey, if I tell anybody about Joseph, this guy who interprets dreams and God's obviously with him and prospering him and this is some amazing stuff, maybe I'm going to lose out. We don't know what the butler's reason is. We just know for sure that he forgot about Joseph. So Joseph's still working. He's still doing what he has to do. He's still trying everything he can. But the butler's forgotten him. And a little bit of a spoiler alert. And it came to, in chapter 41 starts out with, and it came to pass at the end of 2 full years. So we're not talking about the butler just forgot about it for a day or two. We're talking about the fact that this butler completely, like Joseph gives him amazing news, treats him kindly, does everything for him, says, "Hey, help a brother out." And the butler just completely blanks him. It's the best way to say it. Do that in the in the modern lingo of kids. My two nieces will be came to see us earlier this week, and it's always fun having them around. They only stayed for a little bit because they were actually stopping here to pick up something and head on to college. But yeah, they were. It's always fun, but it's always fun to be around that kids lingo because they're college kids now. They're both sophomores. The butler forgets him. He blanks him. He ghosts him essentially. He gave him the he doesn't just blank him. Blanking him would be if Joseph kept reaching out to him, but really the butler ghosts him. He's like, "Bye ya," and then just never says anything back. Joseph has no way to reach him, of course, because he's in jail. He's on death row. And like I said, chapter 41 begins with, "And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years." So that's where our story is going to pick up. What's wrong with this butler? Why would he do this? Is he that selfish? No, this is all in God's timing. Keep this in mind. Yes, Joseph said this and Joseph asked for this, but God said, it's not the right time, Joseph. This isn't the time for you. You need to wait. And so for 2 more years, Joseph remained faithful. There's no indication that we have that Joseph didn't do what he was supposed to do. There's no indication that Joseph stopped working or that he stopped being in charge of the prison. He's still in charge of everything. He's still making everything run like a top. He's still doing amazing. And I think that's where it's really hard for sometimes is that we do something amazing and we ask for a favor and we ask God and we ask the people around us to help us out and to let us do this. And Russ and I are moving on to something really exciting and really new in 2026. But I'm going to tell you, this has been years in the making. It's been almost 2 years so far and could be a little longer, actually closer to 3. It'll be 3 years this September that God gave us a vision of some things he wants us to do. And it's taken 3 years of waiting and working and changes and things that have to be done in order to see this. And it still hasn't come through. It still has not happened yet. And I think, but I have faith that this is what God wants us to do. And my husband has faith that this is what God wants us to do. And it just seems like we just have to wait and we have to rest. And there's lessons that God still needs to teach us for this next chapter of our life. There's things that God obviously still needs us to learn or do to be prepared for this next chapter of our lives. And Joseph is the same. The chief butler, yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. He forgot all about him. Simply ghosted him. But God didn't ghost him, and that's the important thing. The important thing that we have to keep in mind is that God didn't ghost Joseph, and he's not ghosting us. Even when it seems like it's been a while, even when it seems like he's not there for us, he is. He's still there. And we just have to wait on his timing and wait on what he wants for us. So as you go into the weekend this weekend, take that with you and remember. This is Labor Day weekend and lots of fun stuff for a lot of people coming up. And I think it's Labor Day weekend. I'm always forgetting which weekend is Labor Day weekend. I think it's the last weekend in August this year, not the first weekend in September, because that's quite a few days in. Actually, now I have to look. Now I have to look because I have to remember. But let's see here. When is Labor Day weekend? Yep, Monday, September 1st. So, first, but that means it starts this weekend. So, or wait, maybe the next weekend. Oh, yeah, sorry, that's next weekend. I am getting ahead of myself. So, but as you're going into this weekend, see, I don't even know what the timing is, but you know what I do know? I do know that God's timing is the right timing. I know that God's timing is going to be perfect, awesome, amazing. And God's going to provide what we need, when we need it, how we need it. And He will do that for you as well. Joseph's still waiting, anticipating to see what God's going to do. And so should we, because He will. So I will see you on Monday. And don't forget, we're going to start shorts tomorrow. We're not waiting until September 1st to start shorts like I originally thought. We're going to start shorts tomorrow, and we'll get into this quite a bit. So I look forward to being with you and getting this all done. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget, if you found any value in this content, do me a favor, click like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. And I will see you Monday morning. Bye for now.
Was my cry at dark midnight, was my cry, give me Jesus, give me Jesus.